This is an example of false outrage. They're trying to make people like somebody who doesn't have a fucking brain cell is going to read this and be like, "Oh gosh, they're trying to starve Americans." Blah 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 blah. Good morrow, everybody. My name is Robin, also known as Sunny Side Up Gal, and you are my Sunny Side Up pal. Welcome to my channel. This is not a real cigarette. This is a bubble cigarette that one of my friends sent me. I literally have had multiple people tell me,
I was gonna get you those.
I am the cigarette gal. I don't smoke cigarettes. I quit right after the panorama. Every now and then, well, actually, I'm a zin popper right now, but I only pop it during the week when I'm at work, when I'm like, I need to focus. I don't do it on the weekends or anything like that. I'm not addicted.
I'm not an addict.
Okay. I love this. Anyway, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming and being here to watch my videos, my video. I appreciate you, and I thank you very much. If you haven't already, consider giving me a subscribe. And if you also haven't already, go ahead and like the video, because I already know you're gonna like the video. I'm pretty entertaining. You're entertained already, probably. Wow, my arms look so short. I have very, very short arms. I'm like a chibi character. I look like I have little kid arms and I'm smoking a cigarette. Just like a real old-fashioned American, okay? If you are not new here, you're a subscriber or a member, thank you so much for returning. It's really good to see you again. I'm really glad you're here. I thank you very much. Don't forget to leave a comment. You know what to do. Like it. You know what to do, okay? Welcome back. And thank you very much. Listen, you guys. Today we're doing FatLogic on Reddit because mommy does not have a lot of brain going on right now. I'll put a timestamp, but let's talk. I am in the middle of a freaking Hashimoto's flare-up, and the way that those come to me is fatigue, like body fatigue, insomnia, but not that bad this time, and brain fog like no other. And then the fact that I can't really get good sleep, it does not help with the brain fog. And I can't believe that we caught this, but the video that I made with my husband, there's a little part that I cut out where I was literally could not think at all, and it was kind of a little not scary because I'm not afraid of anything, but it was kind of just like weird to see on camera. When I was like editing in post, I had to just cut it. I couldn't even watch the entire thing because one, cringe, like who likes to see themselves suffer or struggle? Not me. And then two, yeah, I just couldn't. But anyway, I'll show you guys what it was like.
Previously on
So I had mentioned that in the past too, where I used to be a binge eater, and I used to be a binge eater, and it wasn't until I started fasting and like I can't think. I can't think. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
It just fell
sorry.
out of my brain.
Binge
No, I
eating?
can't. It wasn't until I stopped like binge. No, I can't. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's okay. We can keep
I
going though.
got that. Oh, shit. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
A lot of people with the binging?
No, I don't know. A lot of people. Oh, no, I can't.
Holy shit.
I know. I keep grabbing it and it keeps going out of my brain. Yeah, I have Hashimoto's, if you're not aware. I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and when I do a lot of stuff that flares it, I just turn into like a big dum-dum, and I hate that. Here's how I realized that I was getting a flare, and I knew it was going to happen. The crazy thing is, I know how to avoid them, but I just pushed it. I pushed myself. I'm a pusher.
I'm a pusher. I push people.
And what I did so like when you have Hashimoto's, you're kind of supposed to just chill. Like, I know it's really hard to get into, oh my gosh, I need to exercise like crazy so I can lose weight, right? I got into this mindset that like, hey, I started working out again. My energy, I would go to the gym and my energy would be like through the roof, like perfect. And I was just doing the gym on the weekends, and then I started like we have walking pads at home, so I started walking at home during the week, but I would do it pretty sweaty, like high speed, trying to get my 10,000 steps in, and that was pushing it for my body. Not saying that that wouldn't work for y'all. It does work for quite a bit of people, but for me, um, getting sweaty every day, I think messed with my thyroid a little bit. So I've decided to chill out on the walking pad during the week, but I still want to go to the gym on the weekends and do my thing, right? And then I also had a shit ton of dairy on Saturday. I had like 3 pizza roll-ups, and I'm a keto gal, so I don't do bread, I don't do pizza dough. Um what I would do for like pizzas is I would put just cheese in a pan, let it like fry like a tortilla, kind of like a cheesy tortilla, and then put pizza sauce and just roll that up. And you get, it helps fight the pizza cravings, and it's a really good high protein, high fat. Perfect for keto if you can have dairy. But if you have to refrain from dairy, like I do with my Hashimoto's, not very good. But I was like, let's just try it. It's just the one time. I haven't had dairy in like weeks. It's just one time. That amount of dairy, and it's not the lactose, it's the casein, it's the proteins that it's called molecular mimicry. So the molecules or whatever in the casein or the proteins of the milk or the dairy mimic like thyroid cells. I believe this is it. Again, mommy's stupid right now. Mommy's going through brain fog, but it mimics thyroid molecules, and that simulates a autoimmune attack. And while it makes your immune system attack your thyroid, and that slows your metabolism down, and it's annoying. So I jumped up on the scale yesterday, and I was at 178 beginning of last week. I was up at 184 on Monday. It's Tuesday right now. No, it's Wednesday right now. It's Wednesday.
It's a Monday.
It's Wednesday. Yeah, it's insane. And I know it's obviously, I think it's not fat. It's obviously inflammation. Like my protocol is the same. Nothing has changed about my diet except for me having dairy on Saturday. I'm still doing intermittent fasting. The only thing that has changed is I went overboard on my exercise last week, and then I had dairy. I totally forgot to mention it here, but I mentioned it in a couple of minutes. I also started focusing on my calories, and that kind of led me to eating less fat. I was trying to see if lower calorie, more exercise would speed up my weight loss, but I feel like it just pissed off my thyroid. Your thyroid needs fat. And then mommy turned stupid on Sunday when my husband and I were filming our episode. But yeah, so I'm taking it easy this week, and I'm already feeling a little bit better. What helps for me is to clearly take it easy. If I can get more sleep, I'm going to get more sleep. Although I do have insomnia. Like I'm one of those, I don't have insomnia like terrible, but I'm definitely one of those people that's like, if anything wakes me up, I'm up for the day, right? So, and I think I'm just used to that because I'm on my husband's sleep schedule as well. We go to bed early. It's not like I'm going to bed at 10 and then waking up at 3. No, I'm still going to bed at like between like 7 to 8, 8:30, and waking up. I think we woke up at 3:30 today, or 3:45ish. It's not like I'm completely depriving myself. I'm just not getting a full 8 hours every day. It would be nice. Someday I will. Someday. It would be nice. Other update, I'm drinking some mushroom coffee. So I mentioned this in a members only video. My last members only video, I switched from like the energy packets because they have too much dyes. Although I was told by Angelica that the energy packet that she gets from Target is dye free.
It's poison. You're killing people here.
So I may be stopping by my local Target this weekend for some of that, if they have anything other than berry. I'm not a big berry fan, but I switched from those to drinking mushroom coffee. It doesn't have any actual coffee, like coffee beans in it. It's just like mushrooms, like chaga, lion's mane, all of the nice reishi nootropic mushrooms. And then I do guarana, half a dose. So it's 120 milligrams of like a different source of caffeine. And then a Lakanto monk fruit sweetened chocolate hot cocoa mix. And I usually drink it hot, but I was craving an iced coffee today. And it's not really like, it doesn't taste like coffee. It just tastes like hot cocoa. It tastes like chocolate milk, basically. And then coconut milk for the fat because your thyroid needs fat. Oh, that was the other thing too. I have to chill out, sleep, and then eat a lot of fat because your thyroid hormones need fat. So obviously I'm a keto girly, but I kind of was like focusing on my I was paying it too much close no, see. I was paying too closely attention. I was focusing too much on I was focusing too much on my calories instead of just like get the fat that I'm used to getting, right? I think I was trying a new thing. I was like, maybe if I just like maybe the scale will just start to fall if I just like start counting my calories. It doesn't work for me. It works for many people. It does when I'm ketogenic, it's so easy for me to just, okay, Robin, you know exactly what you need. Do high fat, moderate protein, low carb, and that's it. And I just eat and I get my fat in and I track my food for my percentages, like and my macros, but I don't really pay attention to calories. Well, I was paying attention to calories, and I think I may not have had enough fat last week. So this week, mommy is fat galore, and mommy's already feeling better. I think it's also because fat is my main like energy source. So when I'm not having a ton of fat because I'm like worried about my calories, it's just like not good. Not good for me. But anyway, enough of that. Thank you so much for listening to that. I hope I cut that down pretty good. Let's jump into FatLogic on Reddit. So mommy loves FatLogic on Reddit, and I did happen to see I got a notification because I do have a Reddit account. We all have Reddit accounts, but I got a notification from FatLogic yesterday, and I was like, I guess we're doing a FatLogic episode. So let's get into it. Also, look, I figured out how to do the hotkeys on OBS. So she's practically a professional. Let's just quit my regular job and let's just do this for a living. If you are unfamiliar with FatLogic, let's take a look here and see what it is, what it says. FatLogic is anything that deviates from scientific facts of body weight management. This can range from fundamental misunderstandings of how biology and physics work to lengthy political diatribes about how everything in about how everything is society's fault. Falling victim to FatLogic means accepting misinformation that will harm efforts to keep your body at a healthy weight or lose weight if you need to do so. So do. Let's begin. So this is the one. Okay. So I have a somewhat absurd theory that the obesity epidemic is actually a culture-wide immune response to the fact that American food and drugs are heavily underregulated and that retaining additional fat cells is likely helping to prevent some sort of catastrophic consequence to letting the main people decide your diet be corporations that want you to eat, wear, drink, and breathe plastics. No, I don't think that that's the actual case. All right, let's break it down. So I agree that a lot of the obesity that occurs it's inflammatory. So like the standard American diet is an inflammatory diet, heavy in ultra processed food that is extremely inflammatory, high in sugar, which can lead to type 2 diabetes if you overdo it, insulin resistance, all that jazz. Very, very inflammatory. And inflammation causes obesity. Like obesity is a result of living in a very, very inflammatory lifestyle. The fact that they're saying retaining additional fat cells is likely helping to prevent some sort of catastrophic consequence, no. The retainage of fat cells is the catastrophic consequence from eating this shit. To letting the main people deciding your diet be corporations that want you to eat, wear, drink, and breathe plastics. I mean, the microplastics is also an issue. But as far as like this could be perfect for like the copium den. Like this is just an excuse. Like this feels very like let's put the blame on something else. Which do I think that do I think that big food and like big pharma have a huge hand in the obesity epidemic? Of course I do. This food is created to be extremely addictive. This food is almost built to be obesogenic because the food, like when you hold a lot of fat on your body and you become insulin resistant, you are constantly hungry and you're going to keep buying this food. So, yeah, I do think that there is some blame. However, the person who is in control of eating is always going to be the person who eats. So, nobody's forcing you to put McDonald's French fries. Like, there is studies out there. It's not even like, but it's practically like some kind of Frankenstein potato deep fried in highly inflammatory like oil. And some people may be like, seed oils are fine. Seed oils are okay if you don't heat them up. I mean, am I gonna eat canola oil? I'm not gonna eat canola oil. I've seen how it's been made. Me not like that. I don't like the way that I don't like it. We haven't had canola oil in our house in like 10 years, right? Um, and you're not supposed to heat that shit up. You're not supposed to reheat seed oils, right? I just don't think, I'm not a seed oil fan. Say whatever you want. I'm not a seed oil fan. If McDonald's wants to switch back, that they even put beef flavor in their oil so that it tastes like the old school beef tallow deep fried French fries. It's like, that's pretty fucking weird, right? If McDonald's wants to go back to using, hand cut French fries and beef tallow, that would be amazing. I would be down for that. And if you're like, oh my God, Robin, saturated fat, listen, we're not going to talk about saturated fat. I think I can, until the cows come home, I can talk about how, when we stopped eating saturated fat, when we stopped going from animal fats to cooking, when we stopped using animal fats and cooking to seed oils, we did not get, heart disease didn't slow down. Heart disease has only gotten, worse. So, and people still get fat. We're still fat as fuck. And I actually lost weight from switching to saturated fats. And my triglycerides are better when I eat saturated fats. So, that said, I am getting a blood test this weekend, so we'll see where my triglycerides are at now. And I'm getting my A1C tested again. I'm not sponsored by them, but I use a website called Jason Labs when I don't want to go to the doctor because I kind of hate my doctors. Because they don't really, like, you tell them, like, sometimes with my endocrinologist, she'll do whatever I want. But one of my other doctors, and I'm like, can I get an insulin test? They're like, well, that's not really like a normal test that we order. I didn't ask if it was a normal test that you order. Can you order it? Yes or no? If you can, which I know you can because you've done it for me before, why aren't you doing it? I have insulin resistance. Why is that not a normal test for people who are overweight or people who have prediabetes? Don't you want to see if my progress is, don't you want to see if I'm making any progress? I don't know. But I'm getting an A1C test. I'm getting A1C test. I'm getting a insulin resistance test. I'm getting my thyroid checked because I did, I'm in a flare, so I want to see if anything changes. What else am I getting? I'm getting my lipid panel and a metabolic panel. So basically just checking I'm checking my lipids again to see, because my lipids were good, although my HDL was low by 1 point last time. So we're going to see if that's gotten any better. But my triglycerides and obviously my A1C is getting better. My triglycerides are always great, which is so crazy that you can eat a bunch of fat and for some reason the fat doesn't just like chill in your bloodstream. It only chills in your bloodstream when you have a ton of sugar in your bloodstream. So, okay, how dare you work on your health? You're dieting, they're cutting food stamps and you're dieting. They're using starvation as a war tactic and you're dieting. Who said that they're using starvation as a war tactic? They're cutting food stamps for like, this seems, somebody had mentioned in my comments that this is like false outrage. This is an example of false outrage. They're trying to make people like, somebody who doesn't have a fucking brain cell is going to read this and be like, oh gosh, they're trying to starve Americans, blah 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 blah. Do I believe that starvation happens in America? Absolutely. However, we are the most fed country in the planet. I don't think that this is a great argument. And then also, we should be on a diet. Every American should be on a healthy diet. Not saying diet like the maple syrup cayenne pepper diet. I'm talking about a healthy diet, like the way that you eat. We need to switch it up. There's nothing wrong with fat people because you're skinny doesn't make you special. It makes you a judgmental ass clown. I'm judging you liking a chick that looks like a Skeletor, afraid to gain a pound over a piece of bread. This never happens. That's not a thing. I swear to God, man. Some of these fat bitches make shit up and it's like, dude, this is not your diary. Like, what are you doing? This is made up.
That is not a real thing. It is made up.
Against objectification, but still desires to be objectified. I know it's another form of objectification and body surveillance, but because fat phobia is so ever present and suffocating in North America, it is so nice to briefly interface with a culture where fat woman in the family is a mark of pride and a bragging point. Someone make a fat version of this image because that's how it feels. Oh my God, here's my attempt and it's just a chunky fucking person. What are we doing, y'all? What are we doing? Big girls are the spice of life. This reminds me of It's All Quite on the Western Front. I just remember what's his name talking about how he wants his wife as big as a house. And like, same, honestly. The fantasies of fat people are so strange to me because even when I was fat, I was never like, God, I hope I can find somebody who just loves me for being a fat bitch. I was always like, this is unhealthy. Like, I know this is unhealthy for most of my life. So there was a point after the panorama where I did try to like infiltrate the fat acceptance movement, but I just know that I didn't fit in. They don't really like when you eat healthy. Like they don't like you're on you tell people that you're on keto and they're just like, okay, well, you're fat phobic. So the airline protecting other passengers' rights is fat phobics now.
I'm so hurt and angry right now. I'm writing this from the gate.
No, you're not, bitch. You fucking liar. They're fucking lying.
When I checked in and dropped off my luggage, the employee told me I needed to buy an extra seat for my flight to Paris and another for the flight to Nice. I told her I don't need a second seat, and I've never needed a second seat.
Listen, baby, you probably gained 50 pounds since the last time you flew. Are you flying every day? Are you flying every fucking month? I literally, the other day, I read a Reddit post where a girl literally said she gained 50 pounds in the 5 months from when she lost her job. Baby, that is 10 pounds a month. You need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor. You are inflamed. Something is wrong, right? Would you guys agree? Something is wrong there. Something is dangerously wrong. All right.
She refused to listen to me and said she wouldn't let me on the plane if I didn't buy a second seat. I was so embarrassed that I paid the extra $700 just to get out of the situation. I don't know if this was fat-phobic employee or if it's an Air France policy.
Oh, it's Air France policy, baby. I am sure of it. And I'm sure, fat Americans, I'm sure she was also fat phobic.
But I know my body better than a random employee. This is just more proof that the world is punishing us for choosing to remain fat.
No, this is proof that you have consequences for refusing to submit to the world around you. Not saying like submit like somebody's holding you down. You guys, imagine that the planet Earth is a fish tank. You are outgrowing your fish tank. If you cannot fit in the world that is supplied to you, we only get one, right? It's not like, I mean, if you believe in multidimension, maybe. We only get one of these, right? And you only get one life, unless you believe in reincarnation. But you only get one life right now. The life that you live in right now, you are outgrowing the world. This is a consequence of outgrowing the world. It's not punishment because the sizes of the seats are not created to be like, let's fuck over these fat people. That would be like a punishment, right? The punishment is, it's not, there is no punishment. Claim a little bit of responsibility. You get fatter every year. You no longer fit in the seats. That is a consequence of what? Eating too much, okay? You've eaten too much, you've outgrown your fish tank.
Because we refuse to comply with diet culture and buy their products. They force us to buy extra seats.
Wait, back it up. We refuse to comply with diet culture and buy their products. Yet you don't refuse to participate in the obesity industrial complex where big food, big pharma are hand in hand with the government making you fat so that you become a permanent patient. You're on these medications, you're addicted to big food, you're addicted to processed, highly over ultra processed foods. You participate in the largest evil in America, and well, that's not the largest evil. I'm sorry, that was an over exaggeration. You participate and you pay the biggest food companies in the United States, in the world, probably Coca-Cola, right? You put your fat fingered holding dollars in their pockets every day because you refuse to give into diet culture. Stop. Stop.
They force us to buy extra seats and pay more for clothes. Hopefully the rest of the trip goes more smoothly.
You know, you wouldn't have to pay more for clothes if you didn't put all that money into food. Like I know that, you know, maybe for most people, or maybe for some people it's not just food. Like obviously hormones take into play, but guess what? You need to like figure out what's working best for you or what doesn't, what works for you or what works against you, and fix it. Like it would be insane for me to be like, "Oh, my body doesn't really react well to carbohydrates, but I don't, and I'm gaining a lot of weight every year because I refuse to give up my carbohydrates. I love carbohydrates too much." Like that would be insane for me to do that and then be pissed off that I can't fit on the plane. When I know what works for me, like it's not like I'm starving myself. I'm still able to eat a lot of food. I just know what works for my body and what makes me fat. Imagine being like this, where you're like, I know, I mean, if she doesn't know that she's gained weight because she's eating, like clearly they must know that they're gaining weight from eating, and then they're blaming others for the consequences of that action of overeating. That seems insane to me. Like I know what made me fat. If I know what made me fat and I know what makes me not like less fat, it would be insane for me to go up to somebody and yell at them for me not being able to fit in their world, right? Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so this says 2 different posts, context in the description. Let's read the context. Can y'all see that? Yes, you can. This person is a fat fetishist. In the first image, they say how difficult weight loss is and that being fat is a normal state of being. It's not normal. It is not a normal state of being. In the second half, they say that they are skinny but overweight according to the BMI. I find it extremely predatory to tell people that they can be as fat as they want and that is a normal state of being while it is actively killing them, especially when you get off to it and you no, especially when you get off to it. And you are yourself not extremely obese. While yes, there is neglect of fat people in medicine, but doctors do that to women just in general. That is so true. Obese or not. However, fat makes it so much harder to diagnose illnesses and operate on people. Why not love yourself and lose the fat? Agree. Severe by 8524. All right, let's read this.
When the time comes for fat phobes to recon with the fact that significant weight loss is simply impossible for a vast majority of people.
I hate when fat acceptance people use terminology like impossible. Like it's such an extreme end all be all term, and it's not true. Like this is blatantly a lie. It is not impossible. You can do if cutting your calories isn't working for you, try cutting your carbs. If that doesn't work for you, maybe you need to be on a GLP-1 medication to save your life. I'm talking, we're talking about somebody who's 4 or 5 hundreds. If that doesn't work, you're in danger of harming yourself basically with your own fork and knife. Then you need to go get surgery, right? Like it's not impossible for everybody. And I know that seems a little bit like privileged to say. Not everybody can get the surgery, not everybody can afford medical health care. I get that. But also eating less is free. I know that seems impossible, but it literally is free and it is a control thing. So you have to really want it. It's like with an addiction. Like an addict isn't going to quit their fix unless they really want it, right? So they have to really, really want it. And this type of, I want to say propaganda, but I don't know if that's the right word. This type of, community, the fat acceptance community, where we're like, yes, queening fat people and like, don't lose weight. It's totally fine to be healthy. It's totally blah, 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 is dangerous and is actually killing people. Like there are people who in the fat acceptance community who have died. This is dangerous. If we had more education of the dangers of obesity, like with the Mike Tyson commercial.
My sister's name was Denise. She died of obesity at 25. She had a heart attack.
That's a true story. His sister died from the consequences of being obese. They say, is a heart attack a consequence of being obese? Well, she was obese, and people who are obese die from heart attacks all the time, right? Chris Farley.
Oh God, these are good.
R.I.P. baby boy. That was also a drug overdose, but his arteries were clogged, okay? It is not impossible for people to lose weight. You just have to want it, and I feel like not enough people want it because there's not enough fear about it. And that sounds crazy. You can't just fear people. You can't just scare people into getting healthy. Yes, you can. I did. I had a health scare. I am trying to stay healthy. I'm trying my bestest. So, because a lot of the times too, many of my subscribers, decided not to lose weight until you had a health scare. I didn't lose weight until I had a health scare. Multiple times. Like my first health scare was, I was extremely close to type 2 diabetic, getting migraines all the time, etc. I mean, I thought I had a brain tumor from all the migraines I was getting. And it turns out it was just high blood sugar, migraines from high blood sugar. My second health scare was a cancer scare. A few years ago, I had multiple polyps inside my uterus, and I am 1000% sure it was a consequence of being in an obese body because of the hormonally active excess adipose tissue around my belly, particularly. So it's not impossible. Let's get back to that. It's not impossible. Eating less is free. You just have to really want it. They will not stop wanting to eradicate fatness. And that's the other thing too. This is causing false outrage, this is to instill fear into fat people, and I hate it. They want to eradicate fatness. No, that's such an extreme word. Like the Kurzgesagt video is incredibly I don't know what that is. I may have to plug it in. All right. So I do know what they are talking about. I am following this account, Kurzgesagt. They're like an infographic channel on YouTube. Very, very interesting. Very fun to watch, even to listen to. The voice is very, very interesting. We are going to watch these together in another episode. So thank you very much, FatLogic, for making me fucking do this. I did watch these already. But I mean, it's been a minute. I didn't really pay attention to this Ozempic one. I kind of had a feeling that I was going to do a reaction to it anyway, but yeah. The Kurzgesagt video is incredibly revealing to me on the front. They understand how difficult weight loss is, how ineffective all our methods of medications are. That's fucking stupid why would you even post that? Because it's not ineffective. We've seen Ozempic work. We've seen GLP-1s work. We've seen weight loss medications work. Do some people eat through it? Do some people eat through their surgeries? Sure. They're outliers, right? They're outliers. Like they're not the everyday person. Most people who do go on GLP-1s are going to see some kind of weight loss. That's an effective thing. Oh, well, you have to be on it for life. Okay, but not really. I mean, if you learn to not eat like shit when you get off of it, right? If you use a GLP-1 as a tool to train your palate, train your mind to ignore like food noise and to eat a proper way. So like if you're on the Ozempic and you decide to change your diet to a much healthier lifestyle, like switching to whole foods while you're on it instead of continuing to eat highly processed foods, and then when you get off it you still eat highly processed foods and gain like 40 pounds. Like that's wild that you would even think that that's okay. If you use the GLP-1 as a tool, it's going to be effective to the point where you are not going to need to be on it forever. We know people who were on GLP-1s temporarily and are fine without them. Okay, we've seen that happen. But even if you did have to be on it for life, I mean, we live in 2026. This is the future, Pat. We're so close to flying cars. So fucking what? If you have to stay on it forever. I have to be on thyroid medication forever, right? I have to be on PC. I've been on metformin for years, you know. My only problem with GLP-1s is I know that it's doing something to people's thyroids, and I've seen the gastroparesis like scary stories. I've had gastroparesis before. It is not fun. I don't think that there is enough long-term study on it. Like, I don't think, I mean, it would be different if these were around for since like the 50s. But I wonder if people still had, if people were still like kind of nervous about metformin when that first came out. I'm not sure. Metformin doesn't make you lose an intense amount of weight like Ozempic would, unless you are on too high of a dose and you shit your pants every day. I should get back on a higher dose. Just kidding. But yeah, I don't think it's been around very long, but I did learn, I think I may have mentioned this in another video, but I learned that they got the idea from Gila monsters, and I think that is so cool. Gila monsters are able to fast for a lot longer. I think something in their venom or in their saliva makes it so that they're less hungry and they don't have to eat for like days. And so somebody was looking at a Gila monster like,
Damn, I'm gonna give that to my wife. She's fat.
they understand, okay, how ineffective. They even understand that Ozempic isn't a perfect solution. Yeah, it's not. But I mean, there are options. Everybody's body is going to react to any form of weight loss differently, right? Some people don't do well with calorie counting. Some people don't do well with high fat. Some people don't do well with just working out more, And then some people don't react well to Ozempic. Some people can eat right through it. I've seen some people eat right through it. Or I've seen people just quit because they can't binge because it makes you less hungry. It just wants a world without any fat people at all. It just wants a world without any fat people at all. The health effects of obesity are just a thin veneer on top of this. Like, holy fucking shit. They have all the tools to figure out that they might have learned some misinformation about fat health. All the tools to figure out that being fat is just a normal state of being for fat people, and they just don't. There shouldn't be fat people. End of story. At the end of the day, you can't really reason with bigotry. I think that is the context description, the description discussing the context has said that this person is a fetish person. Like, they love big fatties. It's so strange. Right here it says, like, holy fucking shit. They have all the tools to figure out they might have learned some misinformation about fat health. All the tools to figure out that being fat is just a normal state of being for fat people. Listen, it's fucking like 80 years of obesity study. 80 years of people trying to figure out what's making this, I believe, what's making people fat. Like, people have been like trying to avoid the obesity thing because there's so much research that obesity is an issue. So it's very strange that this person's like, they've got all the tools to figure it out. They've already figured it out. It's not healthy to be fat, okay? It is honestly kind of funny to take the stance that BMI isn't enormously problematic because the weight classifications have been adjusted since its inception, when the real problem of it is literally just your height divided by your weight, which tells you fuck all about the status of someone's health. It is still fundamentally there. Yes, so the BMI is mass. It's not just fat. So it's going to tell you like your muscle, your bone, your water, whatever. It's just a tool to lead you in the right direction. We could see if somebody has a BMI of like 40 and they are not a bodybuilder, that is a problem. You wouldn't be a BMI of 40 if that wasn't mostly fat. Just being honest. If you look fat and your BMI is high, you've got a problem and you need to lose the weight. The problem with the BMI is that it classifies me as overweight even though I'm literally skinny. Let me see a picture. I feel like that's what a lot of fat politics over the last decade. Fat politics, oh my god, shut the fuck up. It's not a fucking political statement. It's science. It's not a political statement to be fat. Last decades have really amounted to, though, broadening the category of what's considered socially acceptable. Broadening the category of what is considered socially acceptable thinness while continuing to leave the fattest of the fatties subject to medical pseudoscience and neglect. That was a very frustrating one. I don't like that. Or we can get to the multi-billion-dollar fast food corpos. what gets me is that everyone woke up tomorrow. Okay. All right. So yes, we love when people talk about big food because they have a huge hand in the obesity epidemic. What gets me is that if everyone woke up tomorrow and went, "Oh, the weight loss industry is evil, evil, like killing and disabling people." Killing and disabling people? Do you know what else kills and disables people? Fucking obesity. Fucking eating till you can't get out of bed. God. For profit, including children who don't have medical rights. The weight loss industry is evil. Evil like killing and disabling people, including children. We have seen the obesity epidemic affect children to the point where they're getting non-fatty alcoholic liver disease, which was something that didn't even occur to a like this is a disease that was made that this was a disease that was found in only adults like fucking less than 20 years ago. You guys, like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Sometimes when I read shit like that, I'm like, is this a troll? Like do they not see? Their algorithm is so steered towards only sucking the teat of fat acceptance that they don't even see that like it affects like obesity kills children. It's so strange. And everyone in the industry woke up tomorrow and publicly apologized for being evil and donated every cent that they had to helping people recover, and their companies dissolved and blew up, and every medical doctor woke up tomorrow and went, "Oh shit, of course that was wrong and unhealthy for everyone. I have to go and apologize and fix what I've done with all my fat patients." Okay, you can turn this around and instead of the medical industry, change it to the big fast food or like big food industry. And if they woke up and were like, "Damn, we made everybody fat, we need to go apologize." Like big food plays big food plays a bigger hand in the obesity epidemic. Big food makes more of a profit off of fat people than the weight loss industry does off of fat people. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I have to go and apologize and fix what I've done to all my fat patients, and every weight loss supplement turned into pure clean water, and every God, what a fucking wet dream this person is having, dude. You're fat. Every weight scam business location exploded and was instantly transformed into a green park and playground and library and shelter, and everyone was suddenly awakened by the reality like a dancing plague. Dude, why don't you have a dream about this for all the fucking Amazon warehouses and all of the fucking like every single McDonald's on every single corner of every single city in the United States? And everyone was suddenly awakened to the reality like a dancing plague had suddenly passed. If all of that happened, the industry could disappear tomorrow and literally nothing of value would be lost at all. There is literally nothing good or redeeming about any of this. It's pure shit and entirely evil. What a fucking dream. I actually want to read what the comments say. The diet industry makes in the United States $90 billion tops. The fast food, $300 billion, my bad. Okay, their fanfic is exhausting. Yeah, I was like running out of breath. If they put 1/10 as much energy into their mental and physical health, yeah, they'd go pretty far. They conveniently always leave out the discussion around UPFs. That's ultra processed foods for anybody who doesn't know. Or at least imply that even if junk foods are not suitable for daily consumption, disabled people, single parents, people who are tired after work, aren't we all, are somehow only capable to afford/eat frozen meals and fast food, so we have to keep it like this. Keep it that way. Like what? Yeah, I know that. I mean, I get tired and sometimes I don't want to cook, but I always make sure that I try my hardest to make sure that if I'm not just gonna fast, if I'm too tired to eat. Well, that's the other thing too. I've come to the terms that if I'm too tired to cook, I'm probably too tired to eat. You know what I mean? I'm usually never like, I'm starving. Very rarely. Very rarely. And if I am like that, it's probably because my insulin is high, my blood sugar is high. I've done something to spike my blood sugar. But if I'm not fasting when I get home, I always try to make sure that there's something that I can just grab out of the cupboard or something in the fridge, like frozen, like shrimp is easy to just defrost and, pop in your mouth. A bag of shrimp at Walmart for like a pound of shrimp is like $5-6. And you can throw back some shrimp and be pretty fucking full. And it's extremely high in protein. But I mean, we have sardines, which are fat and protein. We've got, you can always fry a fucking egg. The thing is that they want highly palatable. They want fun flavors. They want exciting foods. They don't want to deal with like boring foods. But sometimes you just have to eat the boring foods. Do I want a sardine? Not really. Not all the time. Sometimes. Most of the time, yeah, I'm down for a sardine. But like, is it an exciting food? Not really. It's fucking fish in oil. But you've got to eat, right? If you got to eat, then and you don't want to cook, you don't want to make a salad, don't go to McDonald's, throw back sardines. Make a fucking tuna salad. Canned foods are a wonderful item. Okay, larger sizes in vintage shops. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. All right, I've talked about this on a couple of different podcasts. Sellers and customers need to know people weren't smaller back then. That is a false narrative society has put on women. It is misogynistic, leading to bullshit to make us feel like we have done something wrong because we don't fit into tiny waist. The reason we find XS extra small more easily, in true vintage is because they are or were junior styles and fits. They were for teenagers who, guess what, only wore their clothes for 2 to 4 years before growing up. This is absolute fucking banana bonkers bullshit because we have seen videos, I'll try to find it. We've seen videos where people are like women who are deemed skinny in today's modern society, trying to fit into their mother's 1980s wedding dress, not a teenage wedding dress, not a junior wedding dress, a fucking adult woman getting married and can't even fit. Her mom was teeny.
Obviously, it doesn't fit, so I couldn't like wear it. Like I could just go like this right now and just bust the whole thing open. I do think it's like really pretty.
And I think she couldn't fit because she was skinny. The gal was skinny, but I mean, her bones were just wider. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the milk in today's society or something like that. But that's why they're usually pristine and abundant. Average to larger size women, adults wore their clothes longer and consistently. Fast fashion didn't exist. Clothes were made to order, and they wore their same dresses more often until they fell apart. And that alone is why it's harder to find true, older, and antique pieces in larger sizes. There is nothing wrong with your body, and fuller figured, larger sized people have always been here and deserve visibility. Okay, fuller, curvier, larger people have existed. I'm not going to deny that. Tess Holiday size big bitches have not always been around. This is I remember never ever seeing anybody over the weight of like, I would say even 300 pounds. I think seeing somebody over the weight of 300 pounds when I was a kid, I was like, circus, right? Oh, what? That's huge. I see somebody who's either 3, 4, 500 pounds. Well, maybe not 500. I've seen people who are over 400 pounds. I see a new 400 pounder like every year. I've seen I live in Florida. We live in the penis of Florida, so it's easy for us to go to multiple towns. Everything is kind of like, within driving distance. I see people that are over 400 pounds almost every day. I literally saw a lady who was Wally style in Florida. And I say Wally style because I immediately looked at her feet and they were cute like Wally. She took care of her feet, but she was in a scooter, in a Rascal. And she was in the Walmart Rascal, which means she walked from the parking spot to the Rascal. If you can walk from the parking lot, you can walk in the store, right? But she did have cute feet. Her toenails were painted, but they looked exactly like Wally feet. But anyway, she was like 400 pounds. I see that every day. I'm in the South in the United States. If you're not from the United States, the South is very much known for fried foods and being fat. So yeah, that was not normal back in the day. The reason, and this is just my hypothesis, but I feel like some fashion girlies might be able to agree with me. The reason why we don't see a lot of vintage fat clothing is because they were less prevalent. It's common now for somebody to be size 16, 18, 20, whatever, plus size. But, that was not a common thing back in the day. Let's say before the 90s, that was not very common. Like if we're talking vintage from the 1980s before, people just got bigger and bigger from like the 50s and up, right? Not saying that fat people didn't exist, But the other thing too is that when you are in an obese body and maybe probably gaining, every year, your clothing wears out a lot faster than somebody who's not rubbing as much. Do you guys agree, fashion girlies out there? I know that when I was morbidly obese, like in high school, I ripped through the thighs of my jeans every like 5 months. Like, needed to get a new pair of jeans every 5 months. I mean, were they poorly made? Yeah, they're probably like, Walmart, no boundaries. But I have a pair of no boundary short jeans now that I've had for the last like 4 years. The Levi's last longer, but my thighs still rub together, but not as intense as they did when I was like fatter. Like I was like 232 pounds in high school and 220 pounds after the panorama, and my shit was rubbing together, you guys. I actually found a video of when I went to Disney World for the first time. Not a video. I found a story from Instagram where I went to Disney World for the first time and my thighs were like bruised. Terrible, terrible. They don't do that anymore. Okay, fast fashion doesn't exist. Clothes were made to order and they wore their same dresses more often until they fell apart. That and that alone is why it is harder to find true older and antique pieces in larger sizes. I don't think that junior sizes exist back then. There was either kids or just like regular sizes, especially if they were made to order. Like they weren't like the lady making your fucking dress wasn't like junior size 13, not a size 14. You know what I mean? Like, no. That and that alone is why it's harder to find true older and antique pieces in larger sizes. There is nothing wrong with your bodies, and fuller figured, larger size people have always been here, and they deserve the visibility in fashion history. Stop feeding the narrative that shames perfectly normal women's bodies. Yeah, I don't want to shame normal women's bodies. Let's be honest. Women do hold more fat than men. We are supposed to have, fat in specific areas, right? We need more fat on our body for our hormones. That said, you can overdo it. I'm overdoing it. I live in a fatter body than I should be, right? And mega obesity is not a healthy thing. It's not normal. It's not normal to be like Tess Holiday. She's got a fucking BMI of over 53. Like, she's in danger. She should get the fucking surgery. And I think we should encourage her to do that. Like, that's fucking wild, dude. You're dying. Like, that's sad. It's sad. She's 5'3" and over 300 pounds, possibly almost 400 pounds. Some of y'all even said that she was over 400 pounds just by looking at her. I don't know. She's like a tick. I wonder if OOP was ever nice about this topic. Actually, you know what? I'm tired of being nice about Ozempic Wegovy. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that they were ever nice about Ozempic and Wegovy. If you take a GLP-1 drug meant for diabetics exclusively to lose weight, you have an eating disorder. Oh my fucking God, dude. Point blank. It's no it's no different from people with bulimia. Okay, taking Ipecac to puke up their meals. Oh my God, is Ipecac still sold? Where can I buy some? Just kidding. The difference is that your doctor prescribed it to you because they're bigoted as fuck and making money off of that bigotry by starving you. Yeah, meant for diabetics, but listen, a lot of people who are in an obese body are most likely diabetic, right? Most likely. Not saying that all. We understand that there's, type 2 diabetes is not every fat body has type 2 diabetes. But we do know that you can't fat storage is almost impossible if insulin is not present. Insulin is the fat storing hormone. It's also just the building hormone, right? You need insulin to build muscle. That's why a lot of people use very high sugar carbohydrates before they do the workout. Yes, the energy is there, but like the insulin is pushing that sugar into the muscles, and that's what helps you build, right? The movement. Ozempic and Wegovy do something too, and I don't know I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a scholar. Ozempic, Wegovy, GLP-1s, they clearly do something to the GLP-1 mechanism is occurring, but it is reducing the like obviously if you eat less, your insulin bolus, your insulin need is also lowered. So that, yes, it's for diabetics, but the controlling your insulin levels is a great way to reduce the fat on your body. And that's what I do. I mean, I'm not on GLP-1 medication, but I have calluses on my fingers from checking my blood sugar. I always make sure that my blood sugar is below a specific number. That ensures me that my insulin load, my insulin requirement is low, and that's helping me lose weight. Except for last week when I fucking gained 5 pounds of inflammation. It is also insulation. But yeah, very frustrating. Weight loss is hard. It's not difficult. It's not impossible. But when you have thyroid problems, it's fucking so disheartening. All right, one more and then we're going to call it a day. Okay, this says, oh, I love fashion. One of the most chronically online fat-centric fashion hot takes I've seen in a while. I think I cracked the code on why current fashion is all athleisure. Athleisure? Bodycon, lingerie outside the bedroom, tight polyester material, and how it coincides with the rise of beating recorders, diet culture, and heroin chic. The clothes are no longer fashion, the body is the fashion. Rather than wearing something as an expression of yourself, you wear to show off your body. Listen, I remember distinctly people being excited that like athleisure was coming back, because this was also a trend in the 80s as well, 90s possibly too. Because fat people, and I think a lot of people, don't want to wear jeans, right? I see a lot of fat people in leggings and stuff. I see a lot of fat people comfortable wearing this shit. So this person is projecting they're not comfortable wearing athleisure. Athleisure? I feel like athleisure is the actual word, but I know that's probably wrong. I'm going to keep saying it though. I think it sounds better. It feels better on my tongue. Athleisure. I feel like a lot of people living in fat bodies are more comfortable in athleisure because it's stretchy, right? It gives them room to gain 10 or 15 pounds, right? So this person probably does not feel comfortable wearing athleisure. See here, show yourself raw. That's not even me being on some slut shaming shit. Nobody was thinking that. They fucking tell on themselves, dude. That was never even a thought in my brain until you had said something. So that's, yeah. It's always the emphasis of the body, but okay. But I think about most often when you see the comments on a person's outfit of the day, unless there's somebody known for an alternative or maximalist style, it is always the emphasis of the body, snatched, ate no crumbs, that whole waistline trend. I just imagine how if fat people started belly band trend or something similar, how people would jump to decry it as fetishist material. Excuse me. Yet the obsession with thinness is never seen as perverse, rather than something that should be regarded as inspo or hell, even promoting a healthy lifestyle. Listen, there are people who do fetishize thinner, like heroin chic bodies. Like that's not something that doesn't exist, right? But I mean, I can kind of understand the frustration. Like, I'm just showing off my body. It's not all fetish stuff, but you have to see where some people would think of it as fetish material. Where, for example, my last video or a couple videos ago, Georgia Eats video, Georgia Rose Curves. She is clearly a fetishist. I don't see her in just like athleisure showing off, her outfit or her body like that. It's usually her in underwear. Like when I do see women who are showing off athleisure, I never ever think of it as fetish material. Like that would be weird. It's just a person existing in a body with stretchy pants. Like that would be weird, right? Do we agree that would be weird to think of that as fetish material? And if you do, like I just don't see that. I don't see that as a thing. Would you get made fun of? I'm sure, especially on Instagram. I'm sure. But you'd also get a lot of people who are like, oh my God, go off, queen, because that's what we fucking do. All right. What did we think, you guys? What do you guys think about the FatLogic episodes? I love FatLogic. It's a much easier episode for me, especially when my brain is just like, not doing its thing. If you liked the video, go ahead and like it. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Let's be friends. I do post twice a week. That is a non-negotiable for me and for you. And I'm trying to do it on a pretty steady schedule. I've so far been doing well Tuesdays and Fridays or Wednesdays and Fridays. And then if you are a member, so if you're not a member already, it's only $2 a month, $1.99. Make you holler. Become a member and you will receive a free episode, not a free, because you pay, but you get an episode every weekend. It might be a blog, it might be another, long form video, depending on how mommy feeling. And I think this weekend, so if you watched my episode from Tuesday with my husband, I think this weekend's members only episode is going to be with my husband as well, because people like him and I love him. You made it all the way to the end. Go ahead and leave me a what am I craving today? Leave me a pig emoji. Mommy is craving pork. I had some Spam yesterday with my stir fry. I got the singles because Spam used to be one of my favorite foods. It actually still is. If you're like, ill Spam, don't listen. I had to get a singles because I didn't want to get like a full can and like keep, overdoing it. But yeah, I got the singles. That was a great idea because a singles is the perfect amount for one portion of my stir fry that I make. So, yep, low carb as well. There's only 2 grams of carbohydrates in a singles. And then it's like 9 grams of protein, which is perfect for my nighttime routine. So if I don't know if I've talked about it for subs, but I've been timing my protein. So I do load my protein during the day, and then at night, like my last meal, I try to keep it low protein. I've noticed when I've been doing that my blood sugar levels in the morning are lower than they have been ever, right? And that's because I think when I overdo protein at night, like my liver like converts it because I'm not moving or anything like that. I think it converts it into sugar with gluconeogenesis. So yeah, that's my plan so far. We're gonna do this for a few weeks and see what happens after I get my thyroid back in check. But anyway, again, thank you so very much for watching, you guys, and I'm having so much fun making videos for you. So if you are also having fun watching, come back next week. All right, goodbye.
I love you.